A country of 156,000 people walked onto a World Cup pitch in Houston, stood across from one of the most decorated teams in the sport, and for 21 minutes, they were level, 1-1. Germany versus Curaçao, the biggest footballing nation in the field against the smallest country ever to reach a World Cup. By the final whistle, it was 7-1, and the scoreline tells you Germany won easily. But the 90 minutes told a stranger, better story than that, so let's break it down. Every goal, the moment Curaçao actually pulled level, and why a 7-1 win still left Germany's coach talking about pressure.
First, the stakes, because they weren't equal. Germany came into this World Cup carrying the weight they always carry, 4 stars on the shirt, a nation that expects to win, and a young coach in Julian Nagelsmann who needed an opening result that looked convincing. Group E was supposed to start with a statement. Curaçao came into it carrying something else entirely: history. This is a Caribbean island of roughly 156,000 people. That makes them the smallest nation by population ever to play at a men's World Cup. They took that record from Iceland, who had more than twice as many people in 2018. Curaçao qualified for the first time ever, sealing it with a goalless draw away in Jamaica. And on the touchline stood Dick Advocaat, 78 years old, facing a 38-year-old Nagelsmann, the largest age gap between 2 managers in World Cup history. 2 teams, 2 completely different missions. Kickoff in Houston. And to understand that goal, you have to understand how this team even got here. Curaçao is a small island in the Caribbean, but it's also a constituent country of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, and that connection is the engine behind their rise. A large part of this squad was born and raised in the Dutch football system, players who came up through academies in the Netherlands and chose to represent the island their families come from. Curaçao didn't build a World Cup team from 156,000 people alone. They built it from a diaspora. Steering it all is Dick Advocaat, a coach with decades at the very top of the European game, who at 78 took this tiny federation to a place it had never been. They sealed qualification with a gritty, goalless draw away in Jamaica late in 2025. No fairy tale winner, just a team that refused to lose when it mattered. That's the side that walked out in Houston. Not tourists, a real, organized football team with a real plan.
Germany started exactly the way you'd expect. 6th minute, Florian Wirtz picks his head up and slides a pass into the box, and Felix Nmecha meets it first time, right foot, into the near post. 1-0. Clean, early, routine. The crowd settled in for a long afternoon of Germany passing a smaller team to death. And then the 21st minute happened. Curaçao broke forward, the ball bounced loose through a crowd of bodies in the German box, and Comenencia swung his left foot through it. It threaded the traffic and beat the keeper. 1-1. The smallest country ever to make a World Cup had just pulled level with Germany, and for a few minutes in Houston, the underdogs and their fans believed. That goal is the one Curaçao takes home forever. The problem is what it did to Germany. It woke them up.
From 1-1, Germany simply turned the dial. The 38th minute, a corner swings in from Nathaniel Brown, and Nico Schlotterbeck climbs above everyone to head it home. 2-1, the set piece that a bigger, taller, stronger squad will always have in its back pocket. Then, deep into first-half stoppage time, Nmecha gets into the box again and is brought down by Richardly Bazor. Penalty. Kai Havertz steps up in the 5th added minute and makes no mistake. 3-1. And that's the cruel rhythm of a game like this. Curaçao's golden 20 minutes, the equalizer, the belief, and then 2 goals before the break that quietly put the result out of reach. Germany walked off at halftime 3-1 up, and you got the sense the second half was going to be worse for the Islanders, not better.
It took Germany 90 seconds of the second half to end any doubt. 47th minute, Musiala gets the ball on the right side of the box, opens his body, and curls it across the keeper into the far corner. 4-1. That's the Musiala you pay to watch. The close control, the half yard of space, the finish that looks effortless. After that, Germany rotated and kept scoring. 68th minute, Nathaniel Brown, the man who took the corner for the second goal, got on the score sheet himself. 5-1. 10 minutes later, Dennis Undav, who just turned provider, finished one of his own. 6-1. And in the 88th minute, Kai Havertz tucked away his second of the night to make it 7-1. 4 different scores in the second half alone, a brace for Havertz, and a Germany side that, once it stopped being sloppy, looked exactly like the machine it's supposed to be.
Let's talk about who actually decided this. Kai Havertz walked away with the Man of the Match award, and the 2 goals undersell him, a coolly taken penalty under stoppage time pressure and a poacher's finish at the death. That's the version of Havertz Germany have been waiting for. Jamal Musiala was the most watchable player on the pitch. His goal 45 seconds into the second half was the moment the contest stopped being a contest. Florian Wirtz pulled the strings, picking up the assist on the opener and creating chance after chance. And then there was the story in goal. Manuel Neuer, 40 years old, back in a Germany shirt for the first time in nearly 2 years. He had almost nothing to do, made a single save, and conceded the kind of scrappy goal nobody pins on a keeper. But the sight of Neuer back between the posts at a World Cup tells you something about where this German team is, leaning on experience while the young talent does the damage in front of him.
Now, the part that actually matters more than the scoreline. Forget the 7 goals for a second, and look at who Curaçao are. 156,000 people. An island you can drive across in under an hour. A football federation that a generation ago didn't exist under that name. And they are at a World Cup, the smallest country by population ever to get there. The only other nation in this entire tournament under 1 million people is Cape Verde, and they're debutants too. So when Livano Comenencia smashed that ball through traffic in the 21st minute and made it 1-1 against Germany, that wasn't a consolation. That was the whole point. That goal goes in the history books next to the record. And on the bench, 78-year-old Dick Advocat, coaching across from a man 40 years younger, added one more line to the story. The biggest age gap between 2 managers the World Cup has ever seen. Curaçao lost 7-1. Curaçao also did something no country their size has ever done. Both things are true.
So what does 7-1 actually tell us? For Germany, relief mostly. Julian Nagelsmann said it plainly afterward. We really needed this convincing win. We needed this self-confidence. That's a coach admitting the pressure was real. 7 goals, 4 different scorers, a Havertz brace. Top of Group E on day 1. On paper, a perfect start. But Nagelsmann also said the quiet part. We are on the right path, but there are things we can do better, and we will face stronger opponents. And that 21st minute goal is exactly what he means. A team chasing a World Cup cannot switch off and let the smallest nation in the field walk through its box. Curaçao can't defend like that against bigger names and survive, but Germany can't attack in fits and starts against bigger names and win. Both teams leave Houston with a result that matches expectations and a warning hidden inside it.
7-1 to Germany, a goal Curaçao will tell their grandkids about, and a group stage that's only getting started. If you want the breakdown on every big result of this World Cup, the goals, the moments, the stories, the highlight reel skip, this is the channel for it, with a front row seat to everything happening here in Vancouver and across the tournament. Subscribe and tell me in the comments, was Germany's 7-1 a statement or a warning? I'll see you at the next one.